Merci d'être de plus en plus nombreux à nous regarder. Bonsoir.
S'il vous plaît, personne ne se lève pendant le générique.
Tu rentres quand? Moi aussi, je t'embrasse.
C'est les Pierrot.
Bon.
On nous envoie des vues de la maison. Il a dû rester là un bon moment.
La cassette fait plus de 2 heures.
T'as pas une idée, toi, qui pourrait s'amuser à ça?
Vous attendez encore quelqu'un?
Depuis plusieurs jours, on reçoit des paquets, des coups de fil anonymes. Quittez l'appareil.
Comment j'ai fait pour pas le voir, ce type, c'est un mystère. Hein.
Mais là, vous ne savez pas qui filme ça et comment?
Raconte-moi plutôt comment tu vas.
Bien, je vais bien.
Quand je t'entends parler, je me fais du souci pour toi.
Ma secrétaire a déposé une cassette sur mon bureau. La cassette vous montre, lors d'une conversation privée, une sorte de studio. Ce type veut ruiner votre carrière.
Je sais, j'ai été idiot de te mentir, excuse-moi, je t'en prie.
C'est peut-être un de tes fans. Tu connais pas cet immeuble?
Non.
Et vous n'avez aucune idée de ce qu'il pousse à faire ça?
Il voulait peut-être me tenir au courant, contrairement à toi.
Tu peux pas me faire simplement confiance?
Moi, je dois te faire confiance. Pierrot est déjà au lit?
Je croyais qu'il était avec toi.
Oui.
Ouvre, merde! Montrez-vous, espèce de lâche! C'est un jeu, c'est ça?
Pourquoi avez-vous si peur, monsieur?
J'ai rien caché.
Ah non?
Hello, welcome to Movie Umpers. My name is Bob Sham.
My name is Angela.
And the sounds of your maybe dogs, by the way, are the sounds of chickens, roosters getting. Anyway, we're taking a European vacation all month long. And
Sometimes vacations are stressful.
they can be. I notice whenever we go on vacation, we do 10 times more exercise than we do when we're not on vacation. We work too hard on vacation.
We get blisters.
Yeah,
we
we're
get
sunburned.
sunburn,
Our legs
dehydrated.
hurt. Like, why? I was supposed to be sitting on a beach all the time. Why am I walking 10 miles across a city I don't know? Well, at least we did it. Yes, half of this month for our European vacation will take place in France.
Ah, the French.
This one is directed by a Austrian director by the name of Michael Haneke, but it also takes place in France.
French excellence.
A lot of these movies we're discussing this month are, as most European movies have been for a long time, multiple studios coming together to make movies. Italy and France often team up, you know. And I think there's like 4 countries that went in on this movie. I've always heard about Michael Haneke. He's a notorious director. This is really only our second one. We saw Funny Games a long time ago, the American version, which he also made. And we were very mixed reviews at the time. We'd have to revisit it.
I'm pretty sure it made us really angry.
Well, we think about, that was a long time ago. We talked about it a long time ago, and we think about movies different. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that I may have reacted to at another time that I'm just considering it like a blank slate if we ever visit it again. I don't know if I'm going to be mad at AI in the same way that I was mad in like 1999. No one should really be having the same complaints that they had 25, 30 years ago. We all need to grow up, or at least reevaluate why you feel the way you do. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And after a certain point, it might as well be like you haven't seen it. But I have heard a lot about Haneke, and he is one of those guys that, as I've heard, as people have described as other movies, the kind of guy that makes you a little uncomfortable in movies at times. And there's another fellow we've been talking about throughout the year. His name is Von Trier, who kind of has that approach too. But Von Trier's stylized approach is very obvious. Sometimes it works really well, and sometimes I feel like it's pretty heavy. At least judging by this movie, what I really liked about it was that Haneke seemed to at least present the illusion of a lack of style. Everything seemed dissonant, straightforward in a sense. I don't think it really was. There is style here, but he presents it in such a plain way in which we felt like we were just more observing their lives the same way that they felt someone had been observing their life, if that makes any sense.
It absolutely does. And it's very, very well done, to the point where sometimes I was unsure when it was a video within the movie.
I've heard about this movie for a long time. I know it's a pretty critically acclaimed movie. But all I knew about it was that someone is stalking this French couple. We're talking about the movie Caché from 2005. Caché is French for hidden. Directed by Michael Haneke, written by Michael Haneke, starring Danielle Auteuil, Juliette Binoche, Maurice Benichou, Annie Girardot, among others. Cinematography by Christian Berger, sorry.
I don't know.
Sure, I think you're probably right. I haven't stopped thinking about this movie since we watched it. It is what I initially thought it was, but of course it's so much deeper. And I appreciated the depths that it went to, the statement. And it is presented like a mystery, and we'll have theories on that. I think you could narrow it down to a few theories, but it wasn't really the point of the reveal of the movie. The point is of the shame that the characters are the internalized insecurities and shames of their past and what they did and dealt with. You know, we discussed the Battle of Algiers, which is a great S-tier banger, highly recommended. It's on Max. That gives some insight into the conflict between French Algeria and France and the history of colonialism in North Africa. This movie does play into that. I was pleasantly surprised to encounter anti-colonialism themes within this movie about stalking. You can already tell that I'm really into this movie. And we may need to interject a lot more Michael Haneke in the future, because I want to analyze this guy's movies more. I felt like this dude took a thriller and like evolved it.
He on purpose never reveals. You can have your theories, but the what of it and the who and the why does not matter as much as these people are affected and how they feel, and the different levels of guilt, like you said, between what happened when these men were kids to what's happening now, to how much he's is or is not being honest with his wife, how he is at his job, with his son. It's all centered kind of around the guy, but it is the couple, this family.
Haneke, when he wrote this movie, he had the cast in his mind when he was writing it. And he said he got the most of the cast, including the leads. And he picked Daniel Auteuil because he felt like his style of acting was like he was trying to keep a secret. And Juliette Binoche, probably the most well-known actor for us in the U.S. Like, she's one of the few French actors that are more known out here. Daniel Auteuil, more known in France for sure.
She plays a difficult role in this movie because she's balancing worrying about this stalker, worrying about her son, trying to communicate with her husband, trying to express to him what she is upset about without becoming overwrought and ridiculous, right? He tries to treat her that way, but she does not cave.
He does kind of gaslight her a little bit.
He definitely gaslights her, but she stands firm.
Yeah, she's trying. Yeah,
it's difficult.
She is trying. You do feel sorry for her character because she is just teetering on the brink, and you know it's not going to do her any good to go into hysterics, even though she may have earned the right to do that, especially at a certain point in this movie.
There was a point where if she'd started throwing things at his head, I would have understood.
But at the start of the movie, our lead characters, they have a son as well, who's like 12. They have gotten a video. They have already gotten the video. And we open up on just a shot of their street in front of their apartment, their house. And you see it fast forward. And I think a lot of this movie is shown in the tape style. Even when you're not sure if you're looking at the tape that's sent to them or
then
not,
there will
be like that fuzz line, you know? And so we open up with them watching a tape of their home,
and it's them leaving their house.
Feels so dissonant as we watch it, and they're just watching their own home, and they're like, I have no idea what this is. But more shit starts to come, including drawings of what look like a very crude image of a boy's head with blood coming out, and another one of like a chicken's head dismembered.
And then there's one eventually of a full man with blood coming out of his face, neck area.
We're not sure. It seems like such a specific thing, and no one is sure but our lead.
They try to go to the cops after they've gotten a couple of these videos, but this is one of those unendingly frustrating situations where they are being threatened someone's watching them, stalking them. The kid gets a postcard at his school. Something goes to his job. I think she gets something at her job. So whoever this is knows their entire lives, their comings and goings, where they work and go to school. They are definitely being threatened. The cops will do nothing because it's still considered harmless.
He has a TV show that he hosts where he interviews authors, and postcards and tapes are being sent. Well, we'll get into the tape that's sent over there. You have a suspicion that the images seem to be so specifically referencing something that someone in this house has to know. And sure enough,
he's also getting flashbacks.
Yeah.
Images of this little boy with blood in his mouth.
And eventually we get a flashback, an image of a rooster getting beheaded.
I didn't like this part.
It's definitely brutal. Where I grew up, it's, you are eventually going to see some shit like that.
Is it normal to
I assume they ate the chicken.
Well, yes.
If it was real. It looked very real.
There's no way it was not real. There's no way, because it flops around for a really long time. And it is
what they do.
Brutal. And is that normal? Do you just let them flop around like that? I've never seen a chicken die in person. I know they move around, but it's normal to just let them flip around all over the place. It just looks so violent.
My grandmother had this expression that if you were like being real hyperactive, running all over the place,
like a chicken with your head cut off.
Yeah.
Everyone says that.
There's a reason why it's like that.
It just seems like you might have tried to contain it.
Some people sometimes they will run without the head. It's brutal, but that's where, if you're eating chicken, that's what's happening to them. So it's an image of this boy who appears to be an Arab boy. And then the image shows the boy approaching the camera holding an axe. And it is definitely Auteuil's character having these visions. And he knows what's going on. And he makes this weird mistake. And this is when he has to gaslight his wife a little bit, because what he should have said was nothing, but he goes, I think I know what's going on, but I'm not 100% sure. And since I'm not 100% sure, I'm not going to explain what I think is going on. And she's like, what are you talking about? Just tell me anything, God, please.
This is also right when they've gotten another video that goes into a neighborhood down a street to someone's door and shows them the door 047, and he says, I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there because I have a theory. But he won't tell her. So not only does he maybe know who it is or what it is, he's going to go there and knock on the door. If this is someone that wants to kill him, he could die in that moment, and she knows nothing.
He knows who's behind that door before it even answers. And
we do too. It's obvious.
Well, we don't know his name.
Well, yes, because before this or after this, before he goes to the house, he goes to see his mother, who's very sick. And he says to her, do you remember Majid or Majad?
Oh, right.
And
Mahid.
she says, no, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, yes, you do. He was the kid, because he was having dreams about him. This is before the door, I believe.
She mentioned like you almost adopted him.
You were going to adopt him, and then you didn't.
He was an Algerian boy.
He says he was so-and-so's son. You were going to adopt him. Do you ever think about him? And the mother truly says, no, I do not think about it. It was a very upsetting time. And she doesn't want to talk.
Yeah.
But at the same time, can tell something is actually wrong with him, because he's doing the thing. And like you said, he's brilliant at showing that he's lying, because he's overcompensating. He's saying, oh, we're fine. I'm fine. The kid's fine. The wife's fine. Everything's fine. Job's fine. And she knows something's wrong, but he won't tell her. There wouldn't be any good in telling her. But he could have taken the same with his wife instead of saying, I think I know what's happening.
Well, he goes to the apartment 47 in this building, and he opens the door, and the man there is like surprised to see him. But he recognizes him immediately. Auteuil's character is immediately like, you need to stop threatening my family. You need to stop sending these tapes. And this man is like, I don't know how you found me. And I don't know what you're talking about with the tapes. He is trying to be polite with him. He's like, it's good to see you. I'm surprised to see you here. But Auteuil, in his mind, is defending the integrity and safety of his family. So he's just very much defensive and aggressive in the tone that he's saying to the guy, and he essentially does threaten him.
He is a man who is used to getting what he wants and everyone listening to him. He's the host of a television show. He's the man of the house. Even though he's married to a very strong woman, he still acts that way. He still acts as though, yeah, we're partners, but also I don't have to tell you everything.
Yeah.
I can keep my own secrets. Why would I tell you? And then later when she tries to not tell him where she was or why she turned her phone off, he gets weird about it and she says, you can, but I can't?
Well, she's
it's
very
one-sided.
She's very close to a mutual male friend of theirs, like extremely close.
He's her boss, and they're friends.
They talk very personable about their relationships, and the son later is resentful of her and that man's relationship. And I get it feels like that there are more tapes that people have seen that have been sent around that we never see. And I think that boy caught a tape of her and that man, like at least being very close. He's very affectionate. You could just say they're French.
French excellence.
Right? That would be the excuse, right? But he's very much caressing of her.
She does lean her head into his chest for a long time. But we do also see they're in a public place. They're in a restaurant. There's a man sitting right behind them. So yes, they are being very intimate, but they're not alone. And every other time that he's at her house, his wife is there too. So I don't know. I feel like it's a fuzzy line. I understand how it could be misinterpreted. Even that scene, if you didn't have the audio and you just watched that, you would definitely think they at least were thinking about fucking, if not. I'm saying all that to say he thinks he's right. He thinks he knows, and he refuses to listen. It's one of those frustrating argument styles where he'll ask the question, but then refuse to accept the answer.
Right.
And he just thinks he knows exactly what it is, and he won't let down. And there is a moment where
you do understand why he thinks the way he's thinking, though.
Absolutely.
He's being led down this path. So
yes.
He's going to assume if someone is doing this to him that they might not be open about them doing it.
100.
But there's a certain point here because they have a bad history, these two men, but the man that he's talking to states, your mother, your parents were, they were very good to me. So whatever happened here, ultimately, we know that they didn't adopt this man, this Algerian man, when he was a boy, but he doesn't hold that blame on the parents.
Mm-mm.
But he didn't get adopted. Why? He holds the blame towards Auteuil's character.
And we do find out over the course of
or whatever,
many different conversations, little bits of what happened between the two boys. It's never completely clear. And I believe there is still something we don't know about what happened or what Auteuil said about this boy when they were kids.
He's still keeping
There's
something.
still something he's not saying because he tells his wife a version of the story, and she was said, that's not enough.
No, he tells his wife that he didn't go into the apartment, that no one was there.
Oh, well,
that
later,
he didn't talk to anyone. And she's like, are you sure? Are you sure? The next day. And then she busts out a tape of their conversation recorded where he's threatening him, and it's recorded within the apartment. And the tape shows what happens after he leaves, and the man just sits at his table sobbing.
For an hour.
And a copy of this tape is also sent to his job where he hosts the show. When Daniel's character says, could you give me a copy of that tape after they talk through it? The man goes, I destroyed it to protect us. It's like, you didn't believe that for a second. You'd think it's going to unravel in this sense where his career gets ruined, but I'm glad it didn't go in that way because I think it would have distracted too much at the point of the movie that we understand by the end of it.
They do leave that as an open thread. However, because when he's having this conversation with the guy at the office, his show is up for renewal.
There's a point where he's talking with his wife, and this is a clue as to the undercurrent of what this movie is about for sure, where the news is on. He's talking to his wife, and this is 2005. This movie came out, so it was made in like 2004 or 2005. Well, the U.S. and much of the Western world was impeded into Iraq, invaded that country at this time. So a lot of the news centered around the Mideast is around that. But I'm trying to piece together what they're seeing because I don't speak French, so I'm trying to understand what the news reports are talking about. You're seeing dead Arab men being carried around. And then you see a map of Israel, and then you're like, oh, it's talking about the actions of that government and what they're doing to Palestinian people in that, what many would describe as a colonized state. But this scene is just showing an undercurrent on what this movie is truly about. It's a thriller, but there is a message here. The man that he talks to, the man he knew as a boy who didn't get adopted by his parents, he summons him back to his apartment.
At this point, the only thing he has told this man at the job and his wife after she saw the video of him in that guy's apartment is that, yes, okay, this is a man that I knew when I was a child. My parents almost adopted him, but they didn't, so he's mad at my whole family. He makes it very simple version of it, a glossed over, he's just mad because he didn't get to live with my family in our estate.
Yeah.
Because they do show the house is like this big, huge, gorgeous.
He does pop over to the apartment before this last time, and his son is there. Now, the video's taken from inside the apartment. So I was asking, like, does he have a kid, right? Does he have someone in his life that he would tell this story of him to? Hang on to that. But he gets summoned to the man's apartment again. And the man, he steps in, and he's not even in this apartment for a minute when the man says, I just wanted you to know that I have nothing to do with the tapes. I don't know anything about the tapes. But also, and he takes out a razor from his pocket, and it's shot so plainly. It's not like cut fancy or anything. It's like we're watching a tape of like Faces of Death or some shit. And the man opens his throat up, and you see just blood spray on the wall. And the cover of the DVD has that splatter.
He says, I wanted you to be here. I wanted you to witness something like that.
He slits his own throat in front of Daniel's character.
I wanted you to be present, I think.
You see him standing there, stunned, and he leaves, and he goes home, and he does explain to his wife, but he explains how he didn't call the police or anything. The police
just ran.
The police would eventually arrive because his son would find the body, and they would rule it a suicide, and it was.
She tries to tell him that he needs to at least make a statement. He needs to call the police. And we find out later, he references him having made a statement and that the police also agreed that it was a suicide. But this is when she says to him, what did you do to this boy? And all he says at that moment, he tells her that he told his parents the kid was coughing up blood because he thought that would mean, oh, he's sick, they'll send him away.
Tuberculosis or something.
Yeah, something like that. They have a doctor look at him. He's totally fine. Clean bill of health. So then he goes to the kid and he says, my dad wants you to chop this chicken's head off for dinner. And that's the scene we see play out.
The rooster, which you usually keep the rooster alive, right?
Oh, it was the rooster.
It was the rooster. So
that even seems like less makes sense.
He tricks the boy into killing the rooster so that he would get in trouble. And I think they have a fight, right? And the boy ends up breaking Daniel's nose.
There is a comment earlier on that the man, when he goes to his apartment, the man says, oh, and there was the thing with the nose. Like, he doesn't say it, but he like kind of implies that he hit this kid in the nose. And the kid was only 6. I think the boy was a couple years older.
Well, the reason why this boy is with this family, this Algerian boy is with his family, because at some point the FLN was calling together, their sleeper cells or somewhere. Something happened to where I think this boy's parents was probably in the FLN, and some incident occurred where either military or French police ended up drowning like 200 Algerian.
Yeah, they were all called to one place and somehow got found out. Or
there
it
was
a
massacre, and this boy became orphaned. So this family, Daniel Auteuil's family, his character's family, they adopt him. But Daniel would lie about this boy all the time until finally this last incident pushed it over the edge to where they sent the boy away. And from that point on, he went to go live in an orphanage. And we actually get a scene, and it's a scene as though it's being parked. Like the way the surveillance footage is parked outside their apartment, a camera that doesn't move, and you see this little Algerian boy sending him off to an orphanage, which is just horribly cruel. Like, that scene is as brutal as the beheading scene. It's as brutal as the suicide scene. Like, it is just gut-wrenching that this boy never had any hope, and these people who had colonized his culture, his home nation, well, and would reach out like good French liberals to take this poor boy in. When it became a little too hard for them, they just got rid of him. And it's interesting because you'll remember I pointed out that he said that his parents were good people. Mm-hmm. He blames it all on Daniel. And it is a lot of Daniel's fault. But these parents, look, you wouldn't give away your own child if they were bad, right? It's a devastating scene. And, well, at one point, of course, the man's son, the grown Algerian boy, after he kills himself, the son goes to where he works and he wants to talk to him. He's like, and he has to pressure him in front of all of his office. I'm going to make a scene if you don't come talk.
This is another instance where dude is so mad, he's not letting him speak. He's saying, well, just say, well, why do you even want to say to me? Just say what you're going to say to me. But he doesn't ever let the kid talk.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a head to where finally he says, you know what? This is what I needed to see.
Yeah.
You just showed me.
Yeah.
You just showed me.
And then we get another surveilled image near
of the kid's
end.
School, which we've seen a couple times.
The kid's school. And you had to point it out to me because I was looking all over, but I was missing it. And you were like, look down at the left corner. The man's son is talking to his son outside of the school. And it's not a negative, there's no conflict there. They seem like they know each other. It seems very casual.
But they definitely step away from the boy's friends to have a chat, and then amicable, and the boy goes back to his friends.
Now, it's never explained specifically who was doing this surveilling, but it seems like if you really want to narrow it down, it's like a few ways, right? The man's son was doing it and he was lying about it. Or their own son was doing it, being fed information from the man's son about his father. Or they were doing it together.
That's what I think.
Ultimately, it seemed like they were doing it together. Whether one is doing the tapes, because it makes sense that their son would be able to set up these tapes and get around it. At some point, you're going to be looking for people surveilling you or something, and you're going to look for people you maybe don't know or who would stand out. He actually almost gets in a fight with a black man on a bicycle outside of his apartment because he's so rigged up and paranoid, and that he's lashing out at anything that, is outside of his own family, his own culture.
I think they did it together. Accessibility is the most obvious reason. But like you said, there could be other videos, because at one point I thought maybe the son saw a video of his mother in the cafe.
I think so.
Now I believe that he was following her to film them, but we never saw the video because once he thought his mother was having an affair with Pierre, he didn't want to hurt his dad, because there is a sweet scene between he and his father later, because he didn't come home one night because he was so mad about what he'd seen. It was that night he didn't come home. He lashed out at his mother, but with his father, he just tried to reassure him, I'm okay, everything's fine. Yeah. I'm going to be fine. So he felt guilt. He's another level of guilt, though.
And he's also pointedly hiding any feelings from his father the same way that the father's hiding from the rest of the family. The father we don't have a scene with the father where he's like, I've learned my lesson. I've seen, not at all. And I think the boy feels more the need. I mean, I think he loves his dad, but the mission, if he's involved in it, he's going to have to put up more of a face for his father. But his mother, seeing his mother, he's probably actually closer to his mother, which would explain why he's so mad.
And because he knows his father did something bad. This whole thing
everyone is hiding
is
something.
Trying to bring to light what happened between his father and this boy's father. I think that the kid who didn't get adopted told his son the story. The son found the son of the man. He may have even taken the first video, but somehow they connected.
And they arranged something
together. And it's almost, in you talking about the whole thing happened with his parents and just the history of Algeria and France. It is also almost this idea of it's going to take the younger generation coming together to bring to light what actually happened and for everyone to be honest about it.
Yeah.
They're still not being honest about it, but the kids have found a way to be together. Now, there's no way that kid wanted his dad to commit suicide.
No.
There's no way that he knew it was going to get so out of hand.
His dad really had no idea what was going on.
No, his father was the most innocent person in this entire movie.
It just increases the tragedy. What's unspoken, the feelings that that man's son is hiding is that he probably feels some guilt over what led to his own father's demise, that he was a part of it.
Absolutely. And both sons have to feel guilt over the fact that that man is now dead.
Caché from 2005 by Michael Haneke. This movie rests in your craw. As I said, I think this is a fantastic thriller that is about something that isn't what is obvious, and the layers of hidden, the secrets, and the fact that no one really learns a lesson here. That's important. Mm-hmm. But there is also that undercurrent of anti-colonialism, a commentary on how so-called sophisticated society has messed up people around the world.
How the people who did the messing are self-righteous in the fact that they were either justified or it's really not their fault.
Just using their family in order to put down an ethnicity or a culture when it's their convenience, or tossing them aside when it's nothing that they can benefit from directly anymore. And that's why I'm giving the 2005 Caché film a 5.
I agree.
Because I think this is fantastic modern thriller that really works for me. And I think there is an important message, but it is a rough watch. I'll give you that. Peep this. It is an S-tier movie. Michael Haneke's Caché is in between the films Burden of Dreams, the documentary by Les Blank about Werner Herzog making Fitzcarraldo, and Orson Welles' classic Citizen Kane. Orson knows a little bit about the fine French ways.
Ah, the French.
That said, check the show notes for links, other places to find us. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know. Tell us, give us your next Haneke recommendations. We're learning about him, and I'm really liking what I see so far, his approach here. So let me know what you think about him. What are some of your favorite movies by him? Caché, I thought, was superb.
Excellence.
We say bye now.
Au revoir.
Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Paul Masson